Hey everyone, Laurel Beard here with Paper Crafts by Laurel, here with two cards using the Color Bursts by Kent Oliver and also the Peerless watercolors, just to show the different looks that you can achieve with these watercolors. The one to the left is the Color Bursts and the one to the right, the circles, is the Peerless watercolors. So I'm using the Stitch Circles by Lawn Fawn, and I've gone ahead and die cut that off camera onto some watercolored cardstock. I've put that in a shoebox and I've generously sprayed that little circle die cut with some water. See, some of that powder fell off already. And I'm just going to squeeze out some, very little bit of blue, tiny, tiny bit. I call these the powder with power because they really are very powerful and a little bit goes a long way. Now I'm working in an old shoebox because I want to contain all the mess. So that's why I'm doing that. So I decided to go in and add a little bit of red, kind of doing these little patriotic colors. So I sprayed in just a tiny little bit of red. Now again, I already saturated that die cut with water, but I'm going to go in and spray it even more, very generously. You can see how much I sprayed. And then I'm going to let that dry naturally. But first I got a used wet wipe, I know, and I'm going to blot off a little bit of that color. I was trying to see if I can de-intensify the colors. Is that even a word? I don't even know. De-intensify? I don't know. A little bit. Just wanted to see, just out of curiosity. I love these because they're very intense, but I just was curious. So I've set that aside to dry, and now I'm going to do the Peerless watercolors here. These are just watercolors that are impressed into some paper. Again, very, very pigmented. I've cut out little squares and put them into some coin pockets, I think these are. And then I'm just going to pick up some of that watercolor right off those papers. So I'm going to spray again, I'm spraying the die cut with some water first, and then I'm going to pick up a couple different colors. That's a red color that I chose. Again, these are called Peerless watercolors. And I always, with the Peerless, or mostly any watercolors, I put the water down first because the water does all of the work for me. I literally don't have to do much of anything. It just is magic. Makes you look like you did all this amazing stuff, but really the water did it all for you, which is just awesome. So I'm going in and adding a little bit of blue around the edges. You can see down there in the right, when I mixed it with some of that red, it turned into almost a little purple color. So it's just real pretty. And I went in and added another spritz of water. I always do that because in my mind, it just kind of finally blends. It does a little final blending step for me. And then I set that off to the side. Both pieces I let dry naturally. This is some typing paper, cheap copy paper that I'm just kind of using as a mask here. I wanted most of my work to be, the design of the stars to be in the inside of the card. So I put that typing paper down. The key to masking is to use a very, very thin paper. And I've adhered that down with some masking tape. And then I've got this stars background. I believe it's by Hero Arts. And I'm going to ink that up with some Versamark ink and then stamp that down directly to the inside, or the card there. Now I'm doing two cards, so I'm going to do this twice. I've got some Silver Pearl embossing powder by Wow. I think this embossing powder is absolutely fantastic. I've grabbed another piece of typing paper and folded it in half, and I'm going to sprinkle on my embossing paper, and that paper down there below is going to catch it for me. If you have any stray embossing powder that you don't want, you know, it's not supposed to be there, you can just get rid of it with a paintbrush, a dry paintbrush. So again, I've gone ahead and done that twice, and then I'm taking my heat tool and drying heating the embossing powder, and you just get this beautiful, beautiful pearlescent shine. I just think that's quite pretty. So that's Silver Pearl embossing powder by Wow. Now I've got these two pieces. They are completely dry. You can see the intense colors of the Color Bursts and the beautiful, soft, subtle colors of the Peerless. I think both are equally as pretty. It just depends on what look you're going for, what your personal preference is. And now it's time to go ahead and pull both of these cards together. So I'm going to center the circles on the card, but before I do that, I want to add some flecks, more sparkle and shine. So that's some Perfect Pearls mixture, and I'm using the little stirring stick, and at first I was like, I ain't getting enough, so I grabbed a paintbrush. So I'm dipping that into the Perfect Pearls mixture, and I am just flicking. I want big splotches, I want little splotches. I'm taking my paintbrush direct to paper to get splotches. I'm doing whatever to get splotches. Watercolor flicks. And now I'm going to go in with some Hero Arts unicorn white ink, and I'm flicking on some of that white ink as well, using that stirring stick. I generally never use the mist part. I always use the stick. I just feel like I get more control that way, for whatever reason. So now I'm going to pop up these little circle dies with some foam dimensional tape. I'm using some foam tape by Scotch, and I've got this, I needed a sentiment, so I've got this Love You S'more set from Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to take this sentiment here from that stamp set. I'm using the grid. I'm working off of a Tim Holtz craft sheet, but you can see the grid lines of my cutting pad underneath. I test out anything I do. I always test out on scratch paper. So the sentiment reads, "Everything is fun with you." I thought that was cool and fun because I think the watercolor bursts on both the Peerless and the Color Bursts are fun. So I thought this was an appropriate card that can be used for any occasion, a friendship card, a lovey-dovey card. If you're going out somewhere fun with someone, got that kind of card. And I went ahead and cut that down. I missed that on camera, I apologize, but I went ahead and cut that down and then just adhered that flat over that circle die, and then I adhered that circle die with that foam dimensional tape to the center of the cards. And these are the cards. So I love both looks, the Peerless here and also the Color Bursts here. So if you want to look at some still photos, you can head on over to my blog at laurelbeard.org, where you can also find a supply list if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching.